Right. Welcome to the Planning and Zoning Board meeting of Riviera Beach, Florida. The meeting is going to start at 6:34 p.m., Thursday, June 24th, 2021. And at this moment, I would like to welcome staff, our board members, guests, and our viewing audience. I would like to share that due to COVID-19, attendees must adhere to the City of Riviera Beach guidelines. Next, if you wish to speak on any item on this agenda, please complete a public comment card and provide it to the Planning and Zoning staff. Cards must be submitted prior to board discussion of an item. Thank you very much. We are going to have a moment of silence and Pledge of Allegiance led by Board Member Ms. Margaret Shepherd.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 2 on the agenda, we're going to have roll call. Madam Clerk, if you could give us a roll call of attendance.
Anthony Brown.
Present.
William Wiley.
Present.
Margaret Shepherd.
Here.
James Gallen. Moeti Nubi.
Present.
Renee Burgess.
Present.
Evelyn Harris Clark.
Present.
Madam Chair, you have a quorum with the alternative, Mr. Nubi, having voting rights.
Thank you very much. Okay. Acknowledgement of board member, that's Board Member James Gatlin. Okay. Item number 4, additions and deletions to the agenda. I do have a change to the agenda. I would like to see that public comments are moved up earlier to where they would go after each final presentation versus at the total end after everything is said and finished. So for tonight, let's begin that public comments will commence after each applicant's presentation, if that's fine with the board. Okay. Do we need a vote on that particular change? No?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, good, thank you. Okay. Item number 5, disclosure by board members and a disclosure by board members first. Any? Okay.
No.
And adoption of the agenda. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, item number 5, we've all received the minutes.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
can we have a vote for the adoption
Oh, sure,
of the
I'm
agenda?
sorry. Let's have the vote.
Anthony Brown.
Yes.
William Wiley.
Yes.
Moeti Nubi.
Present. Yes.
Renee Burgess.
Yes.
Evelyn Harris Clark.
Yes,
Unanimous vote.
thank you.
You didn't call my name.
I'm sorry, Margaret Shepherd. My apologies, Ms. Shepherd.
No problem. What is it? Yes? Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, we've received approval of minutes. If anyone did not receive the minutes, you can share that information with the staff. And if we all have received approved minutes, let's have a motion to approve minutes that were presented at the last P&Z meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. May we have a vote, please?
Anthony Brown.
Yes.
William Wiley.
Yes.
Moeti Nubi.
Yes.
Margaret Shepherd.
Yes.
Renee Burgess.
Yes.
Evelyn Harris Clark.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Okay. Now, item number 7 for staff. Is there any unfinished business? No, ma'am. Okay. All right. So we're going to go into item number 8, new business. Let me give the order of the meeting tonight. The order is business presentation by the staff, by the applicant, public comments if there are, presentation, board members, discussion, public comments if there are any. And we will have questions by board members. We're going to start first with Mr. Brown, then we'll move straight on down the line. And after everyone has had an opportunity to answer their questions, or give their questions and get their answers, if there's any further discussion needed after that, respectfully, please, board members, just let me recognize you. My head is on a swivel, so I can see when someone has a question, and sometimes 1 or 2 people, 3 people have a question at the same time. So give me a chance to recognize you and let everyone jump right on in. Okay, so we're going to turn the first phase of our meeting over to Ms. Savage, and the microphone is yours.
Thank you, ma'am. For the record, Mary Savage Denham. The first item of new business is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, approving plat application PA 2002 from Blue Lagoon Plaza, LLC, to combine 3 contiguous lots of record into one lot totaling approximately 0.41 acre parcel in land area for the real property located at 200 West Blue Heron Boulevard, northwest of and adjacent to the intersection of West Blue Heron Boulevard and Avenue F, identified by parcel control number 564342280400600220, having a downtown mixed-use future land use designation and a downtown general DG zoning designation, providing for conditions of approval and providing for an effective date. And Madam Chair, I'm going to turn the podium over to Mr. Ledger to present the application.
Good evening, Madam Chair. Good evening, Board. Josu Ledger, Development Services. This application before you is to replat the property. You may be familiar with this property. That was the Blue Lagoon project site plan that the board recommended approval to the City Council, which was approved by City Council. Staff did have a conditions of approval within that application for the applicant to replat the property. Just to refresh your memory, the area shows the location of the property. It's at the northwest corner of Blue Heron Boulevard and Avenue F. The existing lots, as mentioned earlier, currently is 3 contiguous lots, lot 22, 23, and 24, and the applicant is proposing to replat it into one single lot in order for the site plan that they got approved to take place. This is the first page of the proposed plat. We have to have it on the record for the meeting. And this is the second page, which shows the combined of the 3 lots into one single lot. Approximately, it's going to be 0.4 acre. Staff do recommend approval of the plat application PA-20-02 from Blue Lagoon Plaza LLC to combine 3 contiguous lots of record into one lot totaling approximately 0.41 acre parcel in land area. This concludes my presentation. If the board has any questions, I'm available to answer it, or I can turn it over to the applicant for their inputs.
Okay, so I am going to open the discussion up amongst the board members, and we are going to start with Board Member Brown first, and move straight on down the line.
No questions, Madam Chair.
No comments as well, Madam Chair.
And just one short question. Who was the property owner before?
I do have the applicant here. The CRA owns the property, and I believe that would be turned over to the tenant, the potential tenant.
Sure, could you discuss that just for the audience would know that the CRA had the property? The property was not a part of the first approval process. We just approved the plaza and the build-out, and that was approved by City Council. And now we're consolidating 3 plats into one, but at the time, I don't think, at least I didn't know that it was property with the CRA, I believe. So could you just go into a little bit of detail?
The CRA owns the property. Our division doesn't have much detail as it relates to the real estate transaction that's taking place. We do have the applicant here who can actually go into the details of that transaction for the board.
Okay, thank you. Let's welcome the applicant.
Good afternoon, board members. I'm Paul Skyers, 2001 Broadway, Suite 210, Riviera Beach, Florida. I'm the representative for Blue Lagoon Plaza, which is a project that's going to be building a 3-bay plaza on this location that the 3 lots are being unified on. That project is projected to start somewhere towards the end of this year, hopefully earlier, all depending on construction prices. This is an essential component of getting that site ready. If we don't unify the 3 lots that are on that parcel, ultimately the city will have problems with determining if there are any clouds on the title and any subsequent issues that may evolve from that. So with your blessing, we would appreciate your approval to unify the 3 lots that are on that parcel.
And then after the consolidation, for example, of the 3 parcels, is there a process of acquisition or?
Subsequent to the unification of the 3 lots, yes, there's going to be an acquisition arrangement. That's already been agreed upon with the CRA for the acquisition of that lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, those are my questions. Let me go straight down the line.
How you doing, sir? And thank you. I want to ask, once, if this is completed, the same thing that we agreed on as a board, as we talked to what was going to be there, is that still in the process? I'm sorry, I got a tooth pulled this morning, so I'm trying to talk as best as I possibly can. The original idea of what we were going to do with that plot, is that still in play?
Oh,
same
yes.
situation, same.
Right, the site plan that you approved, yes,
Right.
that's still the plan.
Same.
Yeah.
So all we're just doing now
Yeah.
is the property, making sure the property is, like I said, is accessible to you to be able to build on it the right way.
Correct.
And then we're going to do everything as normal.
Yeah, we have one challenge in that construction prices have shot up since you approved it.
Right.
So we're working through some dynamics to bridge that gap.
Got it.
We're in discussions with the CRA and also with the city with regards to that.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ms. Shepherd?
Welcome back, Mr. Skyer.
Hi, Ms. Shepherd, how are you doing?
I'm glad to see you.
So
And
wonderful.
I've been waiting for that plot to start being built. I think that's Tony Subs.
That's correct.
Right.
They'll be the
Tony
anchor.
Subs, okay,
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
I've been waiting for that spot to start opening up. Every day I pass back and forth, wondering when the project will be moving forward. So I'm very happy that you're here again,
Thank you.
pleading your case before planning and zoning and then going on to council. So, yes, you can. I think it's going to be lovely. I do.
We're getting a lot of encouragement.
Yes, it's going to look good, especially you got Tony. I know it's going to be great. So once again, welcome back to the
Thank you.
to the planning and zoning to start the project over again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ms. Newby?
Oh, no comment.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
I
and
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Skyers. At this point, I would ask for a motion to accept the consolidation of the plats into one. So I'm asking for a motion, so would someone state the motion in a second?
I'd like to make a motion to consolidate the plots into one for consolidation.
Second.
Second.
I'm sorry, was that second Mr. Brown or Ms. Shepherd?
Mr.
I
Brown.
think it was Mr. Brown first? Okay, thank
I
you.
didn't hear him, I'm sorry.
Anthony Brown,
Yes.
William Wiley,
Yes.
Moeti Nubi,
Yes.
Margaret Shepherd,
Yes.
Renee Burgess,
Yes.
Evelyn Harris Clark.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
And just for the record, I think I should have asked for public comments on that, but I don't think we have any.
None, Madam Chair.
Okay, all right. Let me not miss that with the second applicant, that before we vote, I want to make sure that there are or are not public comments. Just a short reminder for me. Okay. All right. Item B of agenda point 8. Item B.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. This item is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, approving plat application PA 2005 from Elite Capital and Development Incorporated to subdivide an existing lot of record, approximately .81 acre vacant land area, into 6 contiguous lots for the real property located at the northwest corner of West 26th Court and R.J. Henley Avenue, identified by parcel control number 564342290100000552, providing for conditions of approval and providing for an effective date. And I will once again turn over the podium to Mr. Ledger.
Thank you. This is also a plat application from Elite Capital and Development, Inc., proposing to subdivide one currently existing lot into 6 contiguous lots. And we'll go into a little bit more details and for the reason why they're replatting the property currently later in the presentation. Just for reference, this area identifies the location of the property. For those of you who are familiar with the city, this is Atkins Daycare. Just a point of reference. It's immediately south of Atkins Daycare. It's located, as mentioned earlier, between West 26th Court and R.J. Henley Avenue. Currently, the property has a land use designation of multifamily residential, MF15, and a zoning designation, multifamily dwelling district, RM15 zoning district. This is the existing conditions of the lot. This is a survey identified as one single lot, approximately .81 acre. This is the first page of the plat for the record. And the applicant is proposing to subdivide the property into 6 different lots of record. And the applicant can go into further details as it relates to the proposed plans they have for the lots, but staff does have site plan applications that we're currently reviewing. And that application, they're proposing multifamily residential, specifically duplexes. And that application will be coming in front of you for approval. But currently it's within the review stage. Staff is currently reviewing that application. Staff do recommend approval of this application, PA-20-05 from Elite Capital and Development, Inc. to subdivide an existing lot of record, approximately .81 acre vacant land area, into 6 contiguous lots. This concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer, or we can turn it over to the applicant for their presentation.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ledger. Let's have the applicant come forward if they have a presentation. Welcome, and if you can state your name and the name of your company.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening. My name is Corey O'Gorman, Place Planning and Design, 700 U.S. Highway 1, North Palm Beach. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Elite Capital and Development. Also here with me this evening is Philippe Boucher, the owner of Elite Capital and Development. We appreciate the staff's presentation. It was a thorough presentation touching on all of the relevant points for the plat approval. And as was mentioned and is in the staff report, the project is currently being considered in site plan review. And once the site plan review is concluded, that will come before you as well for consideration. And of course, the plat review enables the site plan to continue through processing and come before you for consideration at a future date. We appreciate your consideration this evening and are just here to answer any questions that we can.
Okay, great. May we have the owner of the firm just stand up and introduce himself as well?
Good evening. My name is Philippe Boucher. I'm the owner of Elite Capital and Development. I appreciate the opportunity tonight to present, and if you guys have any questions about our project or what we plan on doing there, be happy to share with you folks.
Sure. Would you mind sharing the podium with your representative so you can tag team?
Absolutely.
I beg your pardon? I'm sorry.
Okay.
Share the podium.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're going to open up your presentation with questions from our board, starting with Mr. Brown.
Good evening. I have one question. I'm sure you probably can't answer it, or comment anyway. On the plats, I noticed that Mr.
One moment, Mr. Brown. May we have the picture of the land up so that as each of us are speaking, there's a reference point? Yes, if we could have a picture of that plat up. Thank you, Mr. Brown. I just want to make sure that we have a visual as each of us ask questions. I think it'll be helpful. Okay, thank you.
On the first page of the plat, Mr. Bailey's name, the city engineer's name, is incorrectly spelled. It's got Terrence Bailey on my sheet, and also on the signature section, the seal section.
Did you want to see the plat up there?
Sure.
Is that what you're asking for?
Yeah, I think there were revisions made to the plat, sir, so that might not be the latest version, to be
yeah.
honest with you. Yeah.
Yeah, his name is spelled incorrectly, so I just want to make sure it doesn't hold you up.
So, our peer review did make comments, and I do believe we do have the latest version. There were some comments that will carry over, that they must be done prior to the plat being approved in terms of sealed, all the city sealed and the county sealed. So they do have those comments that's moving along with it. So
Yeah.
that will address, and Mr. Bailey was one of our reviewers.
So I'm sure he'll address that.
Correct.
I think that was it for me. Thank you.
Can you go back to the visual? I would like to know how many duplex buildings do you plan to build on that space?
Sure. So basically, each lot will have a duplex, so it'll be 6 duplexes that we're going to be building.
And that's right behind the daycare.
Can you talk into the microphone?
Sure. Sorry about that. Yeah, so each lot will have a duplex on it, so 6 duplexes. And what we plan on doing, and by the way, just south of where it says 26 Court on the map, There's also a duplex that was recently built. We're specialized in affordable housing in the West Palm Beach area. We're a small builder. So what we would like to do on this parcel is sell duplex to an owner occupant where they can rent the other side. So that way, they would live on one side and then they can rent the other side, and that helps them to cover the mortgage. So that's kind of what we plan on doing with those dwellings there.
And you purchased this property in January of 2020?
Correct.
Okay, that's all my questions for now.
Okay.
Oh, one more question, I'm sorry. Did you say you also built the two-story, I believe, duplex that bumps up against that next area, the one you were just talking about as well?
No, on
It's more
the
out
corner of
S Avenue.
No, I did not. We did not build that. No,
Okay,
no, that was a triplex. A nice dwelling, by the way, though. It's so, yeah,
it's okay.
yeah. That was not us. We're a different group.
Okay, I just think it's really close to the daycare. But those are my comments, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. You did say that you are building these duplexes with the anticipation that someone will come buy both sides of it with the ability to rent each side out? Or are you having it open where two different people can buy either side?
No, it would be one owner per duplex lot, and in a perfect world, they would live on one half and rent out the other half so that they can cover the mortgage with the rent and live for lower costs.
So it's not your intent to be a landlord?
I mean, we would like to have the people own them and suffice them with living on one side and renting the other. That would be our ultimate goal.
I mean, your ultimate goal, but I really want to get at the intent. Is it to sell each building, so someone can live in it and they can rent it out if they like? Or are you going to be a landlord of all six? I'm trying to understand how are you pushing yourself? What is your intent? You're either going to be a landlord or you're going to sell.
No, we want to sell them to owner occupants. This is our wish.
So your goal is not to be a landlord?
If we have to, we will, but we would like to market them to owner occupants.
Okay.
Yes.
Then in that view, if you are a landlord, I get that not single-family homes, there isn't a backyard. The setback from the front is, very short. Hopefully, you're going to have some pavers there.
Absolutely.
And I understand a certain amount of greenery. You have, in that neighborhood, a lot of multi-level units around you. It's a very nice street. The daycare is just lovely. They've done a very good job. They have a fence that is dividing your property and their property, and right now that fence is very low. Your units are going to be 2 levels, is that correct?
No, there will be side by side.
So side by side.
Single
but not-
stories.
But not 2
No,
stories.
single
So
story.
it's not going to have a situation where someone on the second level is peering down on the children and the children.
Absolutely not. It's a single story. There will be single story dwellings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, because the fence there is just a metal fence, it's not totally secure. I would suggest that when you get to the point of building, that there is a good soundproof barrier and a security barrier to protect the children. I think that would be a big concern of the parents, because sure enough, you could have people who rent or people who own, but the daycare wouldn't know who their guests are. And we just don't want any sort of irregularity to happen because the barrier that separates your land and their land is just a small fence. So I would like for you to take that into consideration.
Absolutely.
Also, too, at the far end here is the children's playground right there. Can you describe what's going to be in front of the children's playground as your building is concerned?
Right. I mean,
Yeah, the first 10 feet.
There's the children's playground with the blue right there.
right.
What's going to be in front of their playground?
Yes, ma'am, it would be the rear
Speak
yard.
into the mic so we
I'm
can
sorry,
hear you a little
yes, ma'am, it would be the rear yard of one of the duplex units.
So there's going to be a physical building in front of the children's playground.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that goes back to my point about security. But most importantly, let me ask, have you had any discussions with the daycare owner? And what kind of approval have they given you?
I mean, they know who we are. We introduced ourselves to them, but I think one of our staff member, Erica, she went and spoke with Mr. Atkins, and they're aware that we plan on developing the parcel. So,
I'd like to get a sign off on them. I want them to clearly understand what is going up, how short the backyard is of the townhomes, that there is going to be a physical building in front of their open space of the daycare. And I like to get written consensus brought back to this board, because you're not at the point of presenting the actual project and getting it approved. This is just the plat right now. So I'm just giving you a heads up for this board to get sign off of your neighbor.
okay.
And, because I would anticipate if there's a concern, your neighbor would come here and express it. Do yourself a favor and kind of iron it out before you get here and have it written for staff.
Okay, that's no problem. We'll,
All right, let's see, I do have another question. My next question is, again, the property is narrow, there isn't a big front, there certainly isn't anything in the back in terms of the backyard. And maybe staff can jump in on this too. What happens if a fire breaks out at one of the units because it's so close to this daycare? What sort of fire precautions or approval is in place, because the separation between the daycare and the townhomes eventually is extremely narrow?
Madam Chair, I know that it looks like the buildings will be right on top of the daycare, but it's not as close as it does appear. Do you have a measurement between the back face of your building and the daycare? It's at least 20 feet.
It would be at least 20 feet.
Yeah.
I mean, I physically, Ms. Savage, walked it, and either the townhouses are going to be very small because they want to at least give a good, decent footage in the front and have some sort of footage in the back, but it's hard to visualize because we're not, I guess, at that point. So this is a general question. Either it is something for consideration for when they come back to have an explanation for us, because again, it's a narrow plat, and both of these, the buildings will be on top of the daycare. And what happens if a fire breaks out? That's just...
Yes, ma'am. That's a very good question, and I do appreciate it. I do want to remind the board that what is in front of you tonight is the subdivision of the property. The site plan will be in front of you soon, and you'll be able to have all of these questions answered and look at it in greater detail. But the plat and your consideration of it should not be tied to any future site plan. This is simply about breaking up the property. But those questions, I'm sure the applicant is making a note of them, and we'll be sure to have that reflected in the record because they are important points.
Granted, and I understand that, but I still like to proceed just to give the applicant just some heads up. Also, too, I don't know if you're going to have sidewalks. You'll probably present that. Guest parking, you're going to have 2 per unit. I guess that's 4 altogether. But what if they have outside guests for a birthday party, for Christmas, et cetera? Just something to think about. And when it's subdivided, the plat, what is the width again and the depth?
It's about 8 feet. Each lot is, each proposed lot is 80 feet front by the lot depth of 72 and a half.
80 by 72?
80 by 72 and a half, correct. And then the corner lot is a little wider to comply with the code.
Is
So
that 80 in width of both buildings together?
80 is the lot width.
Both duplexes together, for example?
Yes, yes, yes.
So I should say really the plat is
The
going to
lot.
be 80, okay.
Correct,
Got it.
correct.
80 and 72 in the back.
And then each building, just because we're kind of glancing on buildings, each building will be 60 by 40. So they will be 60 wide by 40 deep. And we've designed everything to meet you guys' PDRs in the code. So we really try to maximize and make everything as useful as possible with this parcel of land. Because obviously it's a very narrow parcel of land as far, in terms of the depth. We would have much rather have a deeper parcel, obviously, but we still purchased it and try to make the best out of it. That's why we're,
You're making the best out
yeah,
of this.
we're trying to do that. I mean, that's what we do. Whenever we buy land, Corey is on board with all of our projects, and we always try to make the best out of what we got, you know?
Sure, no,
Yeah.
I get it, I walked it. It's something is very similar taking place in another area of our city, and it's very similar.
Yes, yeah.
configuration, and the same subdividing.
Right.
Is taking place, so, no, I understand that.
Yeah.
And just my last thing, even though we're talking about subdividing the plot, but when you come back and present for the final project, it's a nice street. The daycare has done a really good job, and some new duplexes are on the other side corner.
Right.
Someone did a very nice job. Someone's rented.
Yep.
One is empty, but they've done a really good job. I see that they're trying to make that a really nice street, and
Yep.
the surrounding houses of homeowners are doing their best to keep their neighborhood together.
Correct.
The surrounding multi-level units, well, that's a whole different story. They're problematic, but your street is nice, and we can talk about, when you come forward, some of the things to keep it that way. But I would like for you to consider, when you do come back, in terms of building and being a good neighbor, that if you happen to become landlords, what are you going to do to keep your investment safe, keep the property up, code issues, and if there's a property manager, and keep that particular neighborhood and your street, rather, I should say, an investment
Sure.
good. Those are all the questions and comments that I have.
Absolutely. And we plan to build just as nice as what they did on the corner. I mean, even before we purchased our parcel, we were very pleased with that dwelling, and I told Mr. Leger about it. And we also contacted the townhomes on the other corner, and we even offered to paint them for them. And since then, it looks like they took some initiative to clean them up a little bit. So we're very pleased about that. So wherever we go, I always talk to the community, the people around. I know a lot of people in Riviera Beach. Our landscaper, Mr. Bobby Leonard, is from here, and we really work with the community, really. That's what we do, and Corey knows that. We're building in Westgate right now, 26 homes. We already built 6. We're building 20 this year. So we really put a lot of pride in what we do.
Thank you.
All right, good afternoon, sir, again. Like the chair said about the daycare and the safety of the kids, and make sure the kids can't see something they shouldn't see, or people can't see, look at the kids. A good idea, again, like she said, would to be able to go over and talk to the people at the daycare, and then maybe we can give you some ideas on what you can do there for the safety of the kids, for them also, and to protect yourself at the same time. So, again, I know you're going to take care of that when you come back to the board with some of that stuff, but not only want to protect the kids on that side, how about on that road, on 26 Court, you also want to protect the kids on that end also. Now, what I'm predicting is that once you do that, and we're expecting other developments to be developed on the other side, that road is going to get a little more populated, correct? And I was wondering that at that point, when we're going to have, kids still going to be hanging out in the front, possibly, just as an ideal, or possibly putting speed bumps on that road also to protect the people, because like I say, if you're going to have more people coming in and out of that road because you're building your nice development, you want to make sure that people are abiding by the safety rules and everything there also. So that'd probably be something that our engineering department can probably look into to see if we can put 2 speed bumps there just to make sure we keep traffic to a minimum, just for safety reasons. And you're expecting about maybe 30 to 45 people in your 6 developments if it's at full capacity. That's correct?
It's 6 times 2, so that would be 12.
And they're 3-bedroom, 2-bath units.
Yeah, so yeah.
Perfect. So about that area, okay, fine.
Yeah.
So the parking, so you're predicting for parking two per duplex, and then 2 guests, or just 1 guest? How you?
Thank you for the comment. Staff is reviewing the site plan right now. The code does have required parking spaces per unit. So that's something we are taking under consideration through the site plan review. That's why we don't have any information as it relates to the site plan in this meeting, to just make sure,
Right.
But that will become forth, and the code does require 2 parking spaces per unit. So if you have a duplex, you're looking at minimum of 4 parking spaces. So
Okay, and that's another reason why, if you're gonna have that much traffic there, for those little speed bumps there, to be able to control that area. Now, another question for you also, if that's the case, with the population that's coming in that area, with the increased population, especially with a lot of vehicles going up and down that area, is it feasible for a traffic light to be put on that corner?
typically,
The stop light, or the stop sign suffice?
our engineering department is part of the reviewing process. They do look at all the potential impact as it relates to intensity
Right.
coming in. So those are being taken under consideration as part of the review that is taking place right now for the site plan that is in review currently. So there are great questions, and we are, as part of the review we're doing right now, different divisions, disciplines are looking at different things. So I am sure that our engineering division is looking into that. And if there is any potential recommendation as it relates to signalizations or any traffic calming devices, they will make that recommendations to the applicant prior to bringing the project on before you.
Right. I know you're on top of it. I just wanted to make sure that the people can hear that question and then, see what your response is going to be to it, just so they can understand what's going on in the future. So I know you're on top of your job, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, those were some good questions, and my mind really is on the daycare. It is a large daycare, and when they come and pick up the children, quite a few children come out of Atkins. Also, they take a lot of trips. The buses come in and out. But I'm more concerned with going, I guess, to the north to Lindsay Davis, where we have a lot of seniors, about 160 seniors there. And we go on a lot of trips, and some of them walk to that facility. Also, of course, we have R.J. Henley, and my concern is the parking. You're saying 2 per person. I haven't heard anything about the handicap spots, and it's just going to be busy right in that area. I would just like to see the rendition of what they look like. If you're seeing 3 per person, you got to understand you got children that's growing up and everybody got a car. In my house, 4 cars in one little house. When they come to visit me, thank God they live up north. But it's busy, you know, when they're there. I just noticed a lot of traffic and I really have some concerns. I really do. I really do. You're going to have 12 units, is that it?
Yes, ma'am. There'll be 6 duplexes and a total of 12 units.
And you're going to have 3?
3 bedrooms and 2 baths. Yes,
That's
ma'am.
going to be a nice size. That's going to be a nice size.
1,200 square feet.
Yeah, that's going to be a nice size, and I think it's going to generate a lot of traffic in that area. And I'm kind of like with my counterpart. You all have to start. I know the city will start trying to figure out traffic light and the common spots or whatever, because I don't know. I just feel for the daycare. You said you had a conversation with the daycare?
One of our team member went and spoke with Mr. Atkins and made him aware that we were going to develop the parcel and what our plans were. So, but we'll go back and we'll make sure that that's crystal clear. And if we need to get a letter from him, you know, hopefully they'll comply. And it's no problem. We're not here to do anything to unplease anyone. We're just complying with the code, PDRs, and subdividing the parcel by what's allowed in the language, and gonna comply with the parking. We're just doing our best, you know?
Sure, we're just here to uncomplicate the process.
I just want to.
No, I know.
I just want to get a clear picture because I know Mr. Atkins well, and I know they are prestigious in whatever they do. That's why they built that building. They came from Australia and all the way over here.
Yeah.
And then now we got and I'm not making a fuss about it because I think we need to start building something. I really do.
Appreciate it.
Affordable or whatever we need to do, but I want to make sure that as the city planned it out, that it's well, and I hope they're listening to us to get it together and wellly plan it out so we can get a clear picture, because right now I really don't have a clear picture. I mean,
Sure.
I can visualize it, but really seeing the buildings, how you're gonna put a wall up or whatever you're gonna do, how you're gonna maintain it. When people come in, they buy, sometimes they don't keep the property up. You know, and I'm just concerned with that little area with Wells, not Wells, Mr. Atkins and R.J. Henley and all those little places in there. So those are just my concerns.
Absolutely, thank you.
Have you built anything here in Riviera Beach?
No, that would be the first time.
This would be the first.
Mhm.
I've seen you somewhere, I just can't. West Palm Beach?
West Palm Beach, yeah.
West Palm Beach.
Westgate CRA, we're pretty involved with them.
That's where I seen. I
Yeah.
lived there for
And
2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and also I attended a housing authority leadership council a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
So yes.
Okay. Yeah, I know I seen you before. I just placed you.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
No, and honestly, I wish we had the site plan application in conjunction right now, so we could all have more visual about the dwellings and the elevations and all that. So unfortunately, that's not the case. We're kind of just looking at vacant parcels, so it's hard to visualize things. But hopefully, when we have the opportunity with the site plan, we have a lot of visual and we'll be able to see everything. So.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
hey, welcome to the city.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so first comment, I know that about a year ago, we had a developer do like a survey, as Chairperson Mrs. Clark was saying, that, but I believe staff, do we still have the template for that? I believe they had like a template where they surveyed the local community and then they brought it back in. Do we have that template?
I apologize, I'm not aware of, I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Okay, does anybody on the board remember this?
Yes, I do remember another applicant, and they put together a survey and went door to door. And it was part of the recommendation from the board. I think it might have been their first come around, and they came back a second time, and they came back with the survey of the neighbors and what their feedback, so we could evaluate our decision further, and you're correct. So if you would like to give them a heads up.
Yes, if we could find that, I don't know if we have any records of it, but really that's, we can pretty much, there's no point in recreating the wheel. If we use the same template, I mean, would that be sufficient for the board? I'm not sure.
Madam Chair, that was for the project off of Blue Heron.
Right, I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
That was for the project. It was also, right off before Avenue R, across from, between R and O, right off Blue Heron, that very thin strip of land that they wanted to build.
Oh, yes, yes,
plaza
yes,
on.
yes, absolutely.
Madam Chair.
I don't know that we created the template, the staff did, or did the
Madam Chair.
property owner went and created and got feedback. So we would welcome that. Our objective is just to get sign-off from the community, because the homeowners, if you will, have a lot in stake in what you do. And, either their property value goes up or their property value goes down. That just depends upon the quality of townhouse that you built, and hopefully you will not be a landlord, that you will sell those units, but in case that you do, that you have a good management system in place versus what surrounds you right now. Your investment is really gnarly and willy-nilly, and it's just challenging. I'm speaking outside of the new build that's there, that's great, and the daycare is great, but it's those outlier multi-level buildings that are falling apart, and they're just really kind of slum stuff.
May I make one more suggestion? Have you thought about putting, I'm sorry, I can't think of your name right now. Yes, no, sir, I can't think of your name.
Mr. Legend.
Mr. Legend, he knows what I'm talking about. Have you ever thought about putting door knockers or around that property, kind of notify people that, this is about to take place? You're not doing it now, but I'm thinking as you get up to that, so I don't want people to be surprised.
Correct.
I think because you have houses right in that area, it's going to affect everybody in that area, because I'm assuming it's going to be nice, and they're going to bring their families there, and of course you're going to have parties there. So I think you just need to allow them to know that you have an applicant here in the city.
Correct. The board is actually touching on a very essential aspect of the planning process. One of the things that staff does, and it is within our code as well, that we not only did notification postcards to properties within 300 feet of that property for this meeting tonight.
You have done it already?
Correct. So we sent out postcards to all properties that are within 300 feet of that property. Through the planning process, we also encourage the applicant to actually speak and get consent, some sort of conversation with neighboring, with their neighbors or future neighbors. So all those points are very good and very essential. And as part of the site plan review, we strive to ensure that we are touching on those, because we do know once the project comes in front of you, these are the typical questions that the applicant and staff may have to answer. So just for the purpose of the plat, the application that is before you tonight, those informations are not in front of you, although it will come very soon. The site plan is in its review process right now, and you will have the opportunity to either take a look into whether the applicant took heed to the recommendations, the heads up that's provided tonight, and staff as well. We're taking notes and making sure that some of the concerns are addressed within the site plan as we review it currently. So.
Okay, Mr. Lizard, we're going to vote on this in a moment.
Madam Chair.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I
Go
had
ahead,
one
Mr.
other
Ray. Go
comment.
The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. The other comment was just an idea, and I'm not sure if there's any way to do this, but I know there's been talk in the city about workforce housing for the city employees. And is there a way to potentially create some type of synergy with this project? I mean, if we're doing new development and, you know, we already have the workforce housing desire, then maybe that might be a way to you know, create a little bit more public support, or even if there's like a first right to rent to some of the local public employees. That was just a question.
Madam Chair, yes. We can certainly market to the city and first responders, the police department. That's sort of a normal part of the workforce and affordable housing process, which is one of the things that Elite Capital does. So that's a great suggestion, and we would be happy to market in that way.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, you recognize.
Thank you. I'm just going to speak for myself because, like again, I'm a business economics major and an honors algebra teacher. And one thing I wanted to get into in the school system with kids was to be able to teach them how to make money, how to get a job, how to keep a job, how to get promoted on a job, how to do a resume, how to spend money, how to invest money, how to save money. And I think that this is a great idea, or your intention for what you stated earlier, is teaching people how to own and then be able to lease, or then be able to, you know, to be able to make money, and then, how the proper way to say it, to be able to have proper ownership of something and then have the right to be able to assist someone else and then be able to make money off it, so they learn the profit part of business and everything. And I think that's a great idea if it's used correctly. One question, and I hope the citizens of Riviera Beach are listening to what we are talking about right now, and I hope they take advantage of what you just stated by doing so, by purchasing some property and having some proper ownership, and then be able to lease something out. So I hope the people who are listening can do so, because it's nothing like owning your own property, because once they do, they'll start to take care of the community a lot better. They'll want to make sure they maintain their property value, and they're going to take care of the neighborhood, and especially those kids that are behind them inside the daycare, also to be able to help, you know, to make sure the kids are safe. So giving them ownership, giving people ownership, will give them the proper incentive to be able to take care of that property and that.
I think so. I think so too. I mean, and that's why we're here. If, like I said, if we don't sell them to owner occupant, we'll keep them in our portfolio and maintain them. So, but we want to promote exactly what you said, because people can have how many people want to be a homeowner? How's the affordability rate now in the nation? It's not where it should be. So that was our whole idea. Yeah.
And I commend you for that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And thank you. And I'm pretty sure you're following Reimagine Riviera Beach and the great things that we have on the horizon. But I do have a question for staff. Mr. Leisure, the notifications that the city sent out, did it go to the actual property owners? Now, there's a small number of residential homes, and they're probably homeowners, which is good, but the multi-level buildings around there, that those notification goes to those homeowners or those property owners of those multi-level buildings, because really we can rest assured the way that those properties look over there, that they are absentee homeowners or property owners can give less than a darn about that neighborhood over there and probably wouldn't give any feedback. That's why I'm suggesting, or Mr. Noibe suggested that you guys, you gentlemen, really survey it, because you get really more honest feedback for us from people who really do care and who really would get approval versus an absentee owner who's probably living in Texas somewhere. So that was just my comment. And do we have any further comments from the board before we move on to the vote?
No, I just want to say to them, welcome to the city.
Madam Chair?
We're open.
We're ready. We're very excited. I mean, Mr. Leger knows we've been on this for a year and a half, so we're eager to get going.
We have one more question, Ms. Bird.
I just wanted to make a comment. Yes, I will check with my father because he owns a home in that cul-de-sac right there in that area, and I own a home down the street. So that is in my neighborhood. I travel that road every day. Our avenue, I'm right off R.J. Henley. And yes, those properties across the street, I mean, you can build it even if it's nice. I'm not sure how, I'm sure I would not want to purchase it because of that one side. So I would kind of suggest you kind of do some homework. I don't know if you've done any research to see who those property owners are, but I know since the storm, since a couple years ago, the hurricanes, those properties look really bad. And I've been through there, I go through there every day at night, and I know the elements that hang out there. So even with you building on this small strip of land, and I wouldn't purchase it because of the location. It's too close to the daycare, for one, and the surrounding area. I don't know, it just seems like we're taking every piece of vacant land we can find in Riviera Beach and throwing something on top of it. So I would just say consider that, but I'm ready to cast my vote.
Okay. All right, if there are no further questions, then I will ask the board member to make a motion to accept the applicant's request to subdivide the property of lots. So I'm not going to really make the motion. I'm just asking someone to make the motion. Did you need for me to make the motion? I'll make the motion? Okay. All right. The motion is to accept the applicant's application from Elite Capital Development to subdivide an existing lot of record into 6 continuous lots for the real property located at northwest corner of West 26th Court and R.J. Henley Avenue, identified by parcel control number 564342290100000552.
Second.
Okay, may we have a vote?
Anthony Brown,
Yes.
William Wiley,
Yes.
Moiti Nubi,
Yes.
Margaret Shepherd,
Yes.
Renee Burgess,
No.
Evelyn Harris Clark.
Yes.
That vote passed with Vice Chair Renee Burgess dissenting.
Okay.
May I ask
And I
one
did it again.
Madam Chair?
We didn't have, I'm sorry, Ms.
I'm sorry, when you get.
I did it again. I didn't mention public comments before the vote, but I'm going to ascertain there were not any public comments.
No, ma'am, none.
Okay, thank you. All right,
I just want to ask now, is this coming back to planning and zoning again?
At a future meeting, you will have the site plan in front of you for consideration for the actual physical construction of the buildings. Tonight's conversation was simply about dividing the land up into individual parcels. You will have the site plan before you again.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
okay, let's go on to the next agenda item, and that is our item number, what's that, 10? No, number 9, workshop items. None? Okay, great. We can go on to item number 10, general discussion. There aren't any public comments. Is there any correspondence?
No, ma'am.
Okay, let's go to item number C. We're going to start with planning and zoning board comments, but first, let's talk about item A, any project updates, upcoming projects?
So we have our current projects spreadsheet up on the webpage. So as we get new projects in, we are posting the information there. I do encourage the board to look at that. That's our applications under review page. And you can see, what comes in and what's moving along on there.
Okay, great. I'm going to call you. I haven't been able to find that spreadsheet on the website, so offline I'll give you a telephone call.
Sounds good. And perhaps I'll send out a direct link to y'all too, if that would be helpful.
Be terrific.
Perfect.
Okay, great. All right, and let's go to item B, upcoming board meetings, July 22nd. So we're all set with that. That's still intact?
Yes,
Next
ma'am.
meeting? Okay, great. And last, we're going to go on to board comments, and we're going to start all the way again with Mr. Brown.
No comments, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, I just want to note it for the record tonight that I will not be at the July 22nd meeting. I will be out of town.
Okay, thank you. And my board comments is that pretty soon there is a request out amongst our residents for members or people interested in the Planning and Zoning Board meeting to submit their applications. And I want to go back to the request that I had initiated a few months ago, that I would like this board, this body, to have an opportunity to review the applications, to have an opportunity to meet and interview the candidates, understanding that the final decision does reside with our city council, but I am asking for courtesy for this board prior to that. Not looking for an answer tonight, but I do want to stay on top of that request.
Yes, ma'am, duly noted. And we told you that we would draft a policy or procedure, and that's in the works. But in your last packet, we did send you the applications that we have currently. It was included in the last packet. We can send them again. There's a candidate who...
One moment, Ms. Savage. I missed any applications. Did anyone get any applications?
They were in the last packet.
Yes, I
The
did.
last package?
I
Yes,
saw
they
it
were.
Okay, I must have missed that.
at the back.
Okay, all right. So I must have missed that. Let me go back and see the applications. So I stand corrected on that. I missed mine.
That's fine, ma'am. That's no worries. And I'm happy to talk to you more about it when you give me a call. We did put the applications that we had in the packet. We haven't drafted a procedure yet, but we will do that shortly and send that out to you by email before the next meeting.
Okay, great. I'm keeping all of my packets, so I'll look through it again. Okay. And also, too, when we have applicants come forward, some have been very terrific and had a lot of foresight that they bring value to the city, whatever that may be. That's hiring people, hiring our contractors, providing some sort of, if they can't use the landscaping package, they found a very useful way to provide it and still give it to our city. I don't expect all applicants to understand negotiations and win-win and how to bring value to the city as they present their presentation. So it would be helpful if the staff could give recommendations to applicants, if they have not done so on their own, to bring value to our city. It could be as simple as if it's an area that is a broken window syndrome type of area, that they would work in concert with the police department to improve that area of the condition, just to bring us some idea that they are thinking about bringing value and being a good neighbor. It doesn't always have to be monetary, But they should be thinking along those lines. If they're not, I'm asking staff to guide them towards useful valueness to our city, value add to our city.
Very good.
And those are my comments, Mr. Wiley.
I'd just like to just let the public know again about the Reimagine Riviera Beach last meeting that we're going to have on Tuesday, June 29th, and that please come out to Wells Gym and participate in that meeting. For the people here who are concerned about what's going on in our city, what our future plans are, and want to be a part of that decision, please come out and voice your opinion and let it be known it's just as important as voting in any election. So we would like for everyone to come out and be able to talk and discuss any ideas that they have. They're very receptive to ideas and different things that are going on with Reimagine Riviera Beach. And hopefully we can get more people to come out because this is our city and we should want to be a part of that.
Yes, Ms. Shepherd, you're next.
Oh, Mrs. Clark saw my jacket.
Oh, yes, let's have you stand up and model. I certainly did want you to model.
I don't know if I can get up, but they can take a good look. I'm sure Walter got the camera on me. He has a camera on me. But they are shirts with our engraved name for Mr. Gagnon. Unfortunately, Mr. Julius Wiggums was the one that kept added and added and added until Mr. Gagnon conceded and got the shirts. We have the collar shirt, and then we have the regular shirt, which I think is very nice in this breeze. And I think it's very proper when you go out and you're meeting people or whatever, that you should have something that represents the city. I would not dare go out without putting on my shirt or this particular collar I wear, because believe it or not, people look at you and they feel comfortable. A couple of times I did go out and they said, "Now, where are you from?" I said, "Part of the city, planning and zoning." So this is our key, that when we walk up there and looking, and I suggest that when you get your package, go and look and familiarize yourself with the city and just be cordial and kind of talk and get the feel of what they feel. So I think the chair got a little jealous, and where did you get it? So maybe in the budget, you all can kind of think about it, because I think it's very essential that we have them. And one other thing, because I was out for a while, people did not know I was still in planning and zoning. And I did give out some of the papers that you all had, and I think that you should think about it. Just a suggestion, the next time the paper go out, allow us as a board to have a picture in that particular paper so people know we're still here. I think we're doing a good job. Everybody say this is the most beautiful board that they have ever seen. We talk, we have good conversation. And so for that, I think we should be rewarded with that picture to let people know that we're volunteering and serving our city. It's a very important job. It's a job that you have to recognize that you are giving back to your city. And with the reimagine of Riviera Beach, I understand that some of it is coming back to planning and zoning. Stop me if I'm wrong, Mr. Evans. So I think it's very important that we become unified and kind of wearing the shirts. Sometimes I see you all in your jackets to make people understand we are volunteers and we're out here recognizing our city. And with that, I thank you.
And our picture with our shirts on, Mr. Sermons.
I'm a large shirt, in black.
Okay, Ms. Newby.
All right, so I do have a suggestion, and this is a little bit, I'll say, radical. Okay, so just be forewarned. So basically, with the surveys that we've been talking about, the developers, and I think it's a great first step, but it has me thinking that, if it's possible, maybe we have some vision, we might be able to knock out two birds in one stone, because they're surveying the community about their project. Why couldn't we add on a rider on there. Let's say, what do you think about crime in your local area? And then, you know, they're surveying 20 or 30 people, and then every developer that's coming in, we're getting, that's valuable data. And then we're able, you know, and this board could actually bring in real data that, you know, would cost thousands of dollars to do outside of that, and they're already incentivized to do it. And I think that would actually be a great value add to the community. So I think that's something, you know, that a person came to me today, but, you know, I thought it might be something we might want to think about.
I don't think it's radical at all because it's tying something that I had mentioned at last meeting as well as this meeting, where some of the areas are blighted and people are trying to do some things, but they are doing it around some edginess. And I think it is get some good feedback and not two birds out at the same time. And based upon that, perhaps I'm going to ask you to take on, if you could, those sort of questions of polling the residents about the area of crime. Maybe if there's a template, or the staff can put the other questions for the applicant together as to what they should poll their potential neighbors on, in addition to what my colleague at the other end has said. So I think that is terrific. It's not radical, and that's why I love this board. I like the energy and thinking outside of the box and pushing the envelope and making our city and our process better. So I commend you on that. And would you take the lead on the latter? And if the staff could look at questions that would help the applicant out so that they're not struggling trying to put questions together to poll the residents, because this sort of scenario comes before us quite often. So let's be proactive and have a way to automate this process.
So just to be clear, do you want me to come up with the wording for the question, maybe for the first survey?
Did you want to take on the whole survey or part of it?
Oh, the whole, well, I guess I could. I would like to look at the template that we had. So if staff had the prior template, I would probably just build off of the one that we had.
I'm not sure we had a template, if someone remembers, because I think we pretty much have left it up to the applicant to do it. So,
Madam Chair, we provided all of the recommendations that we wanted the applicant to do, so it would just be a matter of going back to those meeting minutes and pulling that information that we requested them to do and putting that together for future projects.
okay, and I think that's easy enough, that the minutes from that particular project is online.
Okay, so would it be possible for staff to maybe send am I able to look it up? Is it something that I could look up? Or?
Yes, absolutely, because
Okay.
if you just go on to our website, our city website, and I believe you go up under government,
Okay.
and you look up planning and zoning, and there is a link that I believe just says meetings or meeting minutes, and it gives you the year. As a matter of fact, I was looking at that particular project for tonight, and it was right around when you and I first started. So it was that very early on.
Okay, and that was what,
19, I want to say
2019?
it was
Okay.
around August.
Okay, all right, I can look into it and I'll
Yeah,
just grab
yeah.
it. Okay,
Yeah, let's start looking around August 2019.
okay,
Okay,
thank you.
all right. Any other board comments? Are we good for this evening?
We are good.
Okay, if so, I am going to adjourn the meeting. I'm going to thank each and every one of you and our guests. And may I have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
Second.
Okay, we're adjourned.